Hey, it's Chris Doherty, Doherty Properties, and I want to come to you today and talk about everything that you need to know about a home appraisal on residential real estate. So if you want to sell your home and a buyer comes and they have a lender, the bank for the buyer is going to require that an appraiser comes out to look at the property. And that appraiser is going to look at your home to determine its value. And they're going to go to the bank and say, we either think this is worth it or we don't think that it's worth it. And so when an appraiser comes out to a home, they're looking at a number of factors, okay? They're going to look at the size of your home. So they're going to look at that square footage. They're going to look at the number of bedrooms that you have, the number of bathrooms that you have. They're going to want to look at the quality of the construction of the home, the type of kitchens that you might have in the house, the countertops, the cabinetry, the flooring. They're going to go through your home and get a real sense of what is in there that could either elevate or detract from value. Then when they take that information, they go back to their office and they try to compare your home to every other home in the vicinity that's sold, and they compare you in what we call a comparative market analysis so they can try to get to an estimated value, okay? The second thing that we need to think about is now when the appraiser does that, a couple of things can happen. The first is you could appraise. They're saying to the bank, hey, this home is worth the sale price that it has on the purchase and sales, so we're giving you the green light that it meets value. But often in a market like this where prices are climbing, you might experience what we call an appraisal deficiency or gap. And in this situation, the appraiser comes to the house and they say, this house is not worth the amount of money that it's being sold for, okay? They say, look, at this house might be nice, but when we take the square footage, the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the condition, we think that the buyer may be overpaying. Now, in that situation, there are a few things that can happen. The first is the buyer might come to you and say, listen, you have to reduce your price because a third-party appraiser is saying it's not worth it. And you have the right to say no. The second is they can come to you and you can try to negotiate with them and say, look, let's try to reduce the price on this property, or we can meet somewhere in the middle. Or third, you can say, I'm not going to move my number at all, in which case the buyer could walk from the transaction on the mortgage contingency because it didn't meet the mortgage contingency requirements, okay? Now, I get all the time from my sellers is, should I have a pre-appraisal done? So before I go to market, should I have an appraiser? And I want to caution you about not doing that for a couple of reasons. First, you're going to pay a cost of $500 to $1,000 to have a pre-appraisal done. Second, not all appraisers come back with the same number. So even though you have that appraiser giving you a number, it may not be what the bank wants that number to be. The other issue is that the buyer's bank is not going to allow an appraisal that was recently done and paid for by you. They're going to want that to come from somebody that they order that is distanced from the parties and that they view as a third party, neutral party. So I get that sometimes it can be appealing to think we can get ahead of this situation, but the reality is that it's expensive selling a home, and doing a pre-appraisal may not be the best case. And so if you have a home that you are getting ready to sell and you have a buyer that has a mortgage, which is going to be the majority of buyers, then you need to get ready for an appraisal and understand what's going to happen before you get into that situation. And that's why we're here to help. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to call us, text us, email us. We're here to help. I hope this information you find is useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the days ahead.